Hey friends! Today I'm going to tell you a story about a beautiful, elegant, glorious monarch butterfly named Mister. Now before you think this is going to be the happiest, most unicorn, rainbow, wonderfulness story in the world, let me just stop you right there. It's about the cold, dark, horrifying truth of nature and the inevitability of death. I'm sorry in advance. Well, it may not have been the first time I learned about these terrible truths about life. I'm fairly certain it was my brother's. In fact, why don't we go ask him? Okay, we're gonna go ask him. Blake.
What? Hold on, are you recording me?
Yes?
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay, what's your question?
You know Mister the butterfly?
Oh, yeah.
Did Mister teach you about the horrifying truth of nature and the inevitability of death?
Absolutely.
Well, and there's Rosie. She knows nothing about the horrors of nature because she is the horror of nature.
Yeah, she'll just like eat and like kill anybody.
Yeah, well,
Not anybody, but like like raccoon or some shit. I don't know.
Possums.
Yes, possums.
And there you have it. So on to this fucked up story. You know how sometimes in elementary school they have you raise butterflies, like all the way from when they're little tiny like pupa or larva, and then they make a cocoon and like you watch them grow. Well, someone had bought my brother a kit where you order the larva and then it's in like this little container thing and you watch them grow and they like eat the honey. I think Blake was about 8 years old and I was about 10. So mind you, we were fairly young. He was really excited because they did this in class. I don't know if every school out there does it, but here in California, clearly it takes a long time for them to grow and like through their entire life cycle. And the whole purpose is to raise them and then release them at the end. And it's like a happy event where you watch your children go off to college. In this case, it's butterfly college, which is the cold, dark world out there of Southern California in this case. It's actually not that cold. We got to the point where it was time to release them. We followed his whole journey and every day like one of us would ask him, anyone who'd come over would ask him about these butterflies. There was so much hype leading up to this. So we go to release them in our backyard and there's a good amount of them. I'd say there's like 10 to 15 and we named a couple of them. For some reason we decided to name this one butterfly Mister. We were like, no, that one, this specific one is named Mister. And I think the other ones had some weird name. Like I could go ask Blake again. I honestly don't remember. It was probably something really freaking weird, like bubble beans. I don't know, that's something I'd name it now. But anyway, this one was named Mister, and Mister was special, and I was trying to pick up some of the butterflies. It was like a whole event with my parents. I think my parents went back inside. My brother and I were still outside, waiting for the rest of the butterflies to fly away, basically. And most of them had, but we noticed that Mister was still there. So Blake like reaches towards the butterfly, and it flies all the way up to the balcony above my parents' bedroom. Blake was kind of sad and I could tell, and I looked over. I was like, Blake, why don't we go up on the balcony? I think if we run up there, he'll still be there. Like, he was perched on the edge perfectly. So I was like, why don't we go up there? You can try and hold him. So we like ran upstairs and opened the door and he was still there and I was like, thank God, because Blake at this point was so hopeful to just hold one of the butterflies. So he like again gingerly is reaching towards it and I don't know, poor Blake and his luck, the butterfly jumped away from him. So I tried to grab it and I was holding it for a second and I was like, here, you take him. And then he reached his hand under and Mister started flying away. So I was like, oh, okay, gotta be the older sibling here and turn this around into a positive. So I was like, like, it's fine, like, let's just wave bye to him, okay? Like, let's turn and wave, like, bye, mister. And literally, mid-sentence, I shit you not, this is a real story, a fucking crow swooped in front of our tiny kid faces and ate this fucking butterfly named Mister.
Eat the butterfly.
And we screamed.
Mister!
We were just holding on to each other and screaming. And then started laughing and crying at the same time, because how in the hell did that happen? And like directly like 2 feet away from our faces, this butterfly, the only one we mostly cared about, got eaten. My parents weren't, like, my dad was in the bathroom or something, so we went and we're telling him, and he like almost didn't believe us, because who the hell would think that that would happen right in front of us? Like, that bird must have just been sitting there waiting for all of the butterflies. Like, this is the perfect time for me to get a nice crunchy butterfly snack. And didn't care. There were humans, tiny humans maybe. That must have been it. We were too small. It just went for it. My dad tried to turn it around. Like, look at us and all of our positive turnarounds here. My dad was like, oh, maybe it was a mommy bird trying to feed a baby bird, which just made us laugh and cry even more. Well, I hope that was a touching story for you, and maybe you have learned something about beautiful nature that we are all surrounded by, and the inevitability of death. Okay, if you like this video, please click subscribe. Please comment down below with stories about how you learned the morbidity of nature. I'm just thinking about all the scenarios that could go horribly wrong. Okay, let's reverse that. How about horrifying animal stories that you've heard? Yes. Leave a comment down below. Okay, I hope you're having a great day. Bye!
There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight.